Hey, this is John Carlos, and I am here with a look at the Target exclusive Marvel Legends action figure of Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming by Hasbro. Well, let's just dump all that. When Hasbro first made the MCU Vulture figure back in 2017 with the Spider-Man Homecoming wave, they didn't include wings, which really pissed me off. If you want to get the wings, you had to get a bunch of figures in the Vulture Build-A-Figure wave to get all the pieces to make his wings, which I thought was a giant middle finger to fans and collectors. I didn't understand why they couldn't have just made a deluxe Vulture figure that was kind of in bigger packaging that had the wings. And now, in 2021, they have rectified that. They've also made a few changes to the figure. Many of them are good, a few not so good. Let's just dive right on in. One of the first things worth noting is that the original 2017 figure's helmet was not accurate to the movie at all. I think that figure was developed with kind of earlier artwork so they can have it out in time, but now we have a way more accurate helmet. I'll put the eye visor on in a moment, but I love the details on this sort of beak section of the front of the mask. The glowing eye things look good. The singular port looks good on the side here. Some nice sculpting on the collar. The jacket appears to be the same. The legs appear to be the same. A little bit of paint differences on like I think on the little exo parts here. But yeah, the feet look good. I love the articulation of the clawed feet. A lot of standard Black Series articulation. We have the double knee joint, and this little side thing doesn't seem to limit too much as far as articulation goes, which is nice. The mid-torso crunch, the ball hinge shoulders, all that. Paint on this is pretty good. I say pretty good because two of my little nitpicks for this figure, two of the little updates that aren't so great, is the hands are brown. In the movie, he does wear black gloves. I believe the previous figure had black gloved hands. I don't know why this one doesn't have black gloved hands. Speaking of black, underneath the edge of the jacket here, where we get to the shirt and that collar, it's all just a brown plastic piece. But you can see where the zipper ends and the rest is all plastic. That should be black. That should be colored in. It shouldn't just be brown like the rest of it. They got cheap on the paint job there. Also just worth noting, my ball-jointed head is great, but that bottom neck joint is stiff as hell, and I can't get it to move at all. Despite the lack of paint there, and the lack of colored gloves, I do like the rest of this figure quite a bit. There are little notches on the sides of the helmet that line up to these little plugs on the sides of the visor. And there we go. I think that looks pretty great. Another update to the figure is this little exo arm gauntlet that matches the legs. So you have to pop off the wrist, slide them in, and they're sculpted into this one kind of angle. So you'd have to bend the elbow joint to sort of match it perfectly, and then plug in the brown colored glove, and you get that. But also we have the little handle. So just kind of bend out the thumb a little bit, and you get that, which looks pretty good. I'd say with both exo arm cuffs attached, it looks really good. Now here's a look at his wings slash glider slash whatever. The detail on the sculpted surface looks really, really good. I like the blue shading there. And one of the things I really dig is the articulation. We have the hinges for the wings here, this rotation here, but also this rotates, which is pretty nifty. This section here connects to this section, so there's a hinge, and then we also have a hinge up there, and this also is a hinge for this section. So let's just go ahead and start assembling all that now. So we put this plug into the hole in the lower back right there, and we get this, which is a hell of a lot of figure, and it has some pretty fun articulation as far as like bending the wings inward, bending the wings downward. When you've got them up and out, they kind of click, so you can kind of leave it in that upward position. When it comes to swinging them side to side, I'm glad that they don't just sort of swing down. I'm glad they have this little kind of clicking kind of limit. I don't know, it's not a limiter, but you know what I mean. Like, if it just swung naturally, that would suck. So the clicking thing keeps it in one place, which is awesome. Also included is this figure stand where the bottom of the wings slide in between every other groove of the top of this stand right here. Now the problem is this figure stand is made of a very thin, really cheap, flimsy piece of plastic. You put the weight of the action figure on it, and if you have the wings flush or slightly forward, it's going to fall over. It really doesn't support doodly squat. The only way I can get this figure to be floating like 1/8 of an inch off the ground is because I have his wings pointed backward to offset the weight. If you want the wings flat or forward, he's gonna fall forward. Luckily though, the wings pointed backward do look alright. A lot of nice detail on the surface of the wings as far as like the technical gack goes, and I do think the figure as a whole looks pretty cool. I'm tempted to kind of bend his legs up a little bit more now that I know that his wings can offset the weight a bit. If you're curious, it's 22.5 inches, just over 22.5 inches from tip to tip of the wings. It retails for $41.99 at Target, a little bit more than your average Marvel Legends figure. But I am happy with this figure, with the price point, with the details. I think it looks cool, but what can I say? I really like the Michael Keaton Vulture action figure. The only thing that would make this a little bit better is, you know, for $41.99, if it included an alternate head with Michael Keaton. That'd be pretty cool. Otherwise, I think it's rad. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this, and if you want to be up to date with all my latest reviews, be sure to click subscribe.